There's the final result. This LED comes on when the car is running. You got a charge port there to charge the wireless winch. The winch also has a flashlight on it. It's also a magnet. So, flashlight, it's wireless. This is the SmittyBilt 3rd Gen X20 12K Winch. It is a 12K model. It does fit inside the Mopar metal bumper, but you're gonna need a winch plate for it. The winch plate that I got was the ATP winch plate. It was a lot cheaper than the Warren one or the factory Mopar one, but I believe this is the best setup you can get right now. All right, the winch plate finally came in for the Gladiator. My Gladiator is a 2002 JT, obviously, but this one from American Trail Products, ATP. This one says for the JL, but it does work for the 22 Gladiator with the metal bumper package. Mine did not come with the metal bumper package for the front, but I did get a takeoff from the dealer, and I had to get the skid plate separate. I had to purchase the skid plate, and I already bolted up the metal bumper, but now we're gonna mount this winch plate and the winch from the Tundra. And so it finally came in today. It was on back order, but here's what it looks like. So it obviously bolts to the frame rails here and here. So this is the front, that's the rear, and winch bolts up here. And the instructions are pretty good. It does give torque specs for all the hardware. It does include the nuts for when you take off the top piece. You can put the hardware back in to make it look clean, purely cosmetic. I still have the winch from the Tundra and the all the hardware pretty much. So we're just this winch plate is the cheapest one they make, but in my opinion it's one of the better ones because it's very thick and it's all one piece. You don't have to bolt together brackets like the Warren winch plate that Mopar uses. So I don't know, I think it's better made. It's made here in America, and they also make really good stuff. I want to get their frame sliders because they have a nice kick out, and it's built in America, and I believe their frame sliders are only about $800. So we're gonna get the Jeep in here and take the front bumper off and figure this out. All right, winch installation. First thing we're gonna do is pull the bumper off. We're also gonna have to remove these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fasteners, and they include the bolts, these right here, so you can take the plate out and then put them back in, put the nuts on the bottom so it still cosmetically looks okay. Gotta pop that plate out. So first thing, to take this bumper off, we gotta unplug the fog light connector right here, and then behind here there's bolts that hold the bumper on. So let's pull that off. All right, we got the plate out. Now we got the bolts that came in the kit, 13 millimeter, and we're gonna bolt these bolts back in without the plate so they supply the nuts. So you just kind of hold the nut there, run the new one in. It's a 13, and we got a T45 head on that. All right, we got all those in. Next, we're gonna pop out this plate, just like that. Just clips. All right, now we're taking a 18 millimeter socket, and there's a total of 8 of these. There's 2 here, 2 on the other side, and then 2 there and 2 right there. So a total of 8. Undo all these and then the bumper. All right, got the 8 bolts off. So now we're gonna bolt up the winch plate. Gotta take that off. So my bumper did not originally come with the metal bumper. It came with the plastic one. That's up there. But I did get this takeoff one off the dealership. They gave it to me when I bought the truck. But so I already bolted that up. So I did not add any additional brackets or anything. But I was told that the skid plate bracket for the metal group package is different. I don't know yet, but that will be this part down here. The skid plate bracket I'll have tomorrow, so I'll follow up before I post this video of what skid plate, if I needed any additional brackets or anything. Because Brad at Trail Recon said that there were supposed to be nut certs for this, but this looks like a different design. Looks like it already has it, but we'll find out. Let's get the winch plate bolted up. All right, so step 8 says remove the factory brackets from both inside of the frame rails using a 16 socket. These brackets will not be used again. Set the bolts aside. They will be used to secure the winch plate. So it looks like we're gonna unbolt this and take this bracket off on both sides, and we're not gonna reuse this bracket, but we need that bolt. The new winch plate already has integrated brackets on it, so 16 millimeter. All right, I had the 2 brackets. So what you're gonna do is put the plate up, put the bolts in for the Fairlead, and just snug them up. That way you put that in there and torque that up with all the bolt holes lined up, and then you take these out. All right, so we got the bolts. We're gonna torque these to 45 foot-pounds on each side. And obviously I just took the bolts out, the alignment bolts. Anyway, it charges by USB. So you can plug it into the winch and use it if the battery in there dies, you can plug it into the winch and use it that way, or you can plug it up in your car and just charge the USB that way. All right, we got it set up here, and we're gonna bolt it up. The torque spec is 55 foot-pounds and the 4 bolts that hold the winch to the plate. It's got 4 bolt holes under here, and 45 to 55. This is how I have the cables routed. This is the negative. I just took that bolt off, added it on there. The positive, I fed it through here. And this one was blank, we put it on there. All right, you need this to install that LED light off the accessory one. So this is for the micro fuses. But the one you want to tap into is this 15 amp here. It is an accessory one. So it's basically going to kind of tap into that without it running any wires, and then you're going to run the wire out here and around. So you're going to take that fuse out, put it in here, put another, I probably put another 15 amp fuse in there. And so that's the one right there. If I can zoom out. So you got these 2 relays, middle one, second one right there, 15 amp. That comes on when the key's on, so that's going to be for the daytime running light of the LED. So here we got both 15 amp fuses, and we're going to plug it in. And plug it in just like that, right there. First we got to splice this. This is the final result. We got it spliced in and wrapped up with this felt electrical tape. Real nice, right? That's what they use at the factory. So the hole is supposed to go in here. There we go. Nice and flush in there. And then we're probably gonna run it around that ground stripe and right out of here. It's plenty insulated, so we should be good. Testing the LED. So it comes on with the daytime running lights. All right, we got the winch all wired up correctly. I made sure we had enough room in between everything. Basically went up straight in between there. Everything's tucked out of the way. Again, so the important thing is there's no right way to route it through here. When you route it, you just gotta be mindful it doesn't rub on anything. And just use zip ties to kind of leave a lot of slack so you know it could flex a little bit. You want to make sure it's loose where you could route it around everything, and you want to make sure there's enough slack so nothing gets pulled tight or, you know, rubs against a corner like that. Let's get the bumper on and fit everything up. And it looks like it's already wound up. All right, step 14, reinstall bumper. 13, I'm sorry. Step 13, reinstall bumper. Torque the 8 nuts to 65 foot-pounds. And when you do that, you gotta make sure you pull the rope through the Fairlead. And yeah, we gotta get the, let's see. We gotta bolt the Fairlead up on there first. Let's do that. All right, so we got the metal bumper here, and this is the plate that came with the winch plate, and you can see the bolt holes. So basically, it goes in like that, and we're gonna put the 4 nuts on from the other side, and then we're gonna bolt the Fairlead on, and then put the bumper on the car. So the bolts that came with the winch plate and the winch are not long enough to fit through the Factor 55 Fairlead, which is a thicker Fairlead. So we basically need to find another 8.8 bolt that's a little bit longer. So we found 2 8.8 bolts that are just a little bit longer. There's the final result. This LED comes on when the car is running. After installing the 12K winch plate, I am still above 40 inches, so about 40 1/4.